priest friend told me the story once, many years ago, that he was presiding at a mass in which this first reading appeared. And if you notice, the names of the three main characters in the story are said 5 times: Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So the reader, somewhat intimidated by this, after saying the names the first time, replaced them the subsequent times by just saying, the boys. And today is the story of those boys. But let's go to the gospel first. The gospel is a contrast from yesterday's gospel because Jesus is saying kind of the same thing, that he's speaking what the Father would speak. And yet, in this particular instance, the reaction is that they're trying to kill him for saying what the Father would say. Similarly, in that first reading, King Nebuchadnezzar is trying to kill Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego because they won't serve his God. And so he's quite amazed when they go into the fiery furnace, which he's made hotter and hotter, and they're not killed. And in fact, there's another figure walking around the furnace with them, an angel. And it's Nebuchadnezzar who comes to believe. Now we can look at the story and say, see, there's the example of people who trust in God in the fiery furnace. Like these days when many are saying, we should be out at our churches because by not being in our churches, we're saying that we don't believe in God enough. Well, we have to remember that this story about the boys is not the usual story in the scriptures. Not everyone who believes and trusts in God is saved from the fiery furnace. In fact, we're called to prevent ourselves from stepping into the fiery furnace unless it's a matter of rejecting God. And today we don't reject God, but we celebrate life by not putting ourselves in harm's way and not putting others in harm's way. That's why we're not in our churches. But we are in our domestic church. We are home praying and trusting in God in these days.